happens, guys, before I did this video and started using these bigger ones in this video, I forgot to put on my gloves. But I will tell you, if you want to use these things, don't buy weightlifting gloves. Go to your Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere and buy these anti-slip gloves. They come in different colors to keep, when you use these larger ones, to keep them from sliding out of your hand and shit like that, okay? Alright, what's up, yins, guys? Time for another video. Kind of getting warmer out here, but the sun is going a different direction here in the shade, so I'm going to go ahead and do a video for you. I'm going to start out with these little ones, and I'm going to tell you, like I said before in other videos, don't misjudge just because of a small number in weight of these things. This is different than your I'm not knocking the idea of deadlifting and curling a lot of pounds. This is kind of done like differently, if you will, and it's very extremely good for you. I'm just trying to tell you, don't be ashamed of saying, like the logic, oh, 10 pounds. Well, there is 5s for other, like the women that don't want bulky arms, who hold it in front of them and do yoga with these things, but that's a different story. I'm trying to tell you how these things work. I'm trying to tell you, shed the stigma or false notion or stereotype that you have to like the dumbbells. Oh, it has to be this many pounds. Oh yeah, and it is okay to use like what a lot of pounds in it. You'll see later, and you see in some of my other videos, but I'm going to tell you why the little ones are good and why they're a must, and not to shy away from the little ones, how important it is. I'm trying to tell you, it's, you use hammers or mallets at different jobs I gave lectures and examples on. I mean, you can use the big ones later. The idea of using the big ones, like I'll show you in a minute here, like I said, these are 25s, but they come in 50s, okay? The concept of, yeah, people using the big ones. When you get heavier than this, you're doing some heavy duty swinging, and you got to keep your, don't snap a wrist and everything, you know what I mean? It has its place, and I don't want to go on and on too much about this later, but I was going to do a separate lecture in a video, try to show you some video footage of certain people in countries, how this is an Olympic event, and they do this religiously and with wooden clubs in some of those other countries. A very interesting ritual called the Zurkhaneh. They use big wooden clubs, and remember the wrestler, the Iron Sheik, back in the days of wrestling? He used the clubs like this, but that's a whole other lecture that I'll do eventually later, like a reaction video, and to show you, because my interest in medieval mysticism and different things like that, if you ever own swords in your life, this is for you. Anyway, but not to go on and on too much, let me put this away. But anyway, like when you want to start out with little ones, you start out like this and like this. I showed you another video. You want to compare it, even though, you know, I told you don't stereotype or mix it too much with your dumbbells or your curling bar. At the same time, it sounds like double talk, but you can compare it and do things just like it. So I don't want to double talk and say, yes, it's just like it too. You can do things just like it. I'm saying why it's good, and in some cases better. And like I said, instead of storing bulky weights and bench presses in places, maybe you live in an apartment that the floor is thin, you know, you can use these more quietly. But anyway, starting out, you do some things no different than your, here's how I say this is better than your 2-arm curling bar. You know, the try not to overtalk this, the 2-arm curling bar that's bent and you go like that. I'm saying about the advantages, and I'm not knocking it. Very formidable people bulked up using that stuff, but I'm saying how this can be better and more convenient for you. This can be better than the 2-arm curling bar and the dumbbells. Sometimes the dumbbells, some people, instead of using bigger weights, if they want, for example, they can curl 80 pounds on one arm, say. Instead of putting 80 pounds worth of maybe these kind of weights, they'll try to put smaller ones, because the bigger the weights are, they're going to brush against your leg. And you see people flexing away, and it's some big ass dumbbells like that. Then, but anyways, you can do shit like this with stuff like this, just like your curling bar. And I say this is good because some of you more slender people, that ain't as big and husky or whatever, you may be lacking something in the wrists. And unlike, in some cases you can curl all the, you can be slender or build and curl all the dumbbell weight you want, and it's not going to do for you what you'd like it to do. Trust me, I've been there. My younger days, yeah, longer arms, longer legs, right? And it's like your legs would still look long, legs and arms would still look long in the mirror, but your shirt off in the mirror, your chest is this wide and your arms still, what I mean? But, and then there's a point where, yeah, you're able to, say, curl like freaking 80 pounds in one arm. You still don't look like the guy that's bigger stature than you that can curl that or more, because you're compared to somebody else in another stature. He might be huskier than you, already bigger boned or whatever, or even have a little fat on him, weighs more than you, and he's curling it like this, and say 80 pounds, and then maybe when you manage to curl the 80 pounds, you're going like kind of hunching your, when you eventually get it. But say when you're want to use medieval mysticism, I'm being polite here, because this was actually formulated back in a day to train with weapons. But to not completely talk about weapons, to be fair, I want to say tools too. It's a fact. Hammers, mallets. You may be doing work, pounding on things, different weights of hammers, right? And now, like, I worked in places, like I said in videos before, smaller, like mallets, some metal and some sand-filled plastic. Actually, there's mallets that are in the tool section of Lowe's, or sometimes, different shaped hammers. You may have to do work, pound things or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm saying you can buy these. It's a status symbol to own these, but if you want to, you do a lot of work, on your own time too, and you do it as your living, your tool shed can be your gym. You see, when I'm messing up my speech, because I'm actually excited about that idea, so I kind of messed up my speech talking too fast. But yes, if you want to buy these, your tool shed can also be your gym. If you want to own these and have all kind of weight of hammers, instead of these, you do that. You know what I mean? This is designed. I'm not going to go and sugarcoat it or make any other implications in any kind of way, but I'm not going to be denying it either. These things were formulated back in the day to train with weapons. But in this day, you can do both, that and tools too. It's good for you for that reason. But anyway, back to what I was saying. It's like your 2-arm curling bar. Unlike a 2-arm curling bar or your dumbbells, you can do this one at a time. This may sound, all right, this may look wimpy. It says, oh, what do you got to do that for? That's too easy, right? That's like curling a little dumbbell. You don't get it. There's that thing above in your one forearm there that for more slender people you want to be able to train with. You can do it real fast if you want to, but then doing this slow is a good thing too. Well, I actually have a scene from Ben-Hur when Charlton Heston was forced to row the ship, you know what I mean, when he was arrested for accidentally killing a Roman soldier. Remember the Roman soldier when Charlton Heston was shackled to the ship and forced to row? The Roman soldier, 2 hammers like this, okay? That you could imitate that if you want a good exercise. Remember this? Ramming speed. Boom, boom. Yeah, if you want to do that, you want to get something, yeah, if you're into medieval different things, wear different hats, whether historically accurate or even LARPing. Yeah, you got your exercise there. Remember the Roman soldier with the hammers? Charlton Heston was rowing, right? Ramming speed. Boom, 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 boom. But anyway, like, so it's, I don't want to double talk it. You want to yeah, you're doing both. It sounds like double talk. You can separate it from your dumbbells and your stuff, but you can do it almost in a similar way, and I can argue that it's better for depending on your body type, right? But then you get better too. Instead of holding it over here, holding it here. You can flick it and swing it. Do this while you're watching TV, but then you eventually, you gotta do both, letting down. So if you're using heavy tools, piece of rebar you have to defend yourself with, or a big pry bar that you use while you're digging fence post, you know, pry bar with a little edge blade at the end of it, where you say when you're digging for fence post, you got the fence post digger, your dirt, and you use one of those other bars and you're chopping it up a little bit, and bars that are used for other purposes. They're fairly expensive too, but if you want to buy yourself 2 of those, I advocate buying those things. Them pry bars almost as tall as you are, because with me it's not just these. It's like whether you're into medieval mysticism and I got a ritualistic type thing for that, yes, use those. It's like holding 2 pole arms. I mean, I did that in my earlier videos. One of my videos that are collecting dust on here, that I use stuff like that, but I don't want to talk about that too much later. But anyway, I'm stressing this because before you handle the bigger ones and that, and then you're getting into after you master this, do as much as this as you need, plenty of this, then eventually you're doing this. Like I said, with the little ones, say what I always said, with the littler ones you're doing, some tricep is involved, but you want to target the wrist with the littler ones, even though I myself pride myself in doing just like you see the Iron Sheik doing with the big old clubs. But in this country we got the metal ones. I'm sure you can go online, I don't look myself, maybe somebody sells those actually Zircon A clubs. You may, if you're a medieval enthusiast, like for medieval mysticism all over the world, maybe you might want to own a set of those to have in your collection. You have different swords on your walls, maybe a replica Roman helmet, a replica Greek helmet, replica this, that, you know. Yeah, replica medieval bastard sword. Oh, I love this. You know, for some reason I love saying the word bastard sword. You can actually swear and get rid of it. I mean, swear and get away with it. I'd make a joke with that in a separate video. Yeah, they had a bastard sword. Can you call it an bastard? Can you call it an asshole sword, or a son of a bitch sword, or anyway, I'm just being silly here. But yeah, if you want your sword collection, and you actually I'm just trying to keep, not to over talk it, but I'm giving you the basic idea. But so anyway, this video is mostly about, do not judge it unfairly because it's small. The rationale, like, oh, that's so light, what are you doing that for? Because it's like curling with your dumbbells, and at the same time it's not like curling your dumbbells. It can be the same thing and it can be different thing, and sounds like double talk, but it's the truth. It's a reverse psychology. It's okay. Let me get the medium ones to show you. Medium size. Right here, like I told you before, this is 15. I wanted to go up to a 20, but for some reason in my thing online, I wasn't finding 20 pounders at the time. Didn't look like what I was getting here for some odd reason. And I found a good price on the 25s, so I went right straight to the 25s. I wanted to get, after I got these 15s, I really wanted one 5 pounds more, but that's okay. So we're on with the 15s. Like, you know what I mean? You're doing the same thing. Oh, but let me get the little ones again for 1 second too. Another idea too that I didn't show you here too, when you're ready to hold, whether you're like this or like this, especially like this, you got to do a session of, here's how it's not like curling with a dumbbell. Unlike the dumbbells, say when you're showing the 2-arm curl bar or like this is one of my main points I forgot to tell you. You want to do plenty of this. Let me show you here. Like you're looking into a sword, or each exercise you're going like this, holding it a little up for, like you're actually brandishing a sword, you know what I mean? So you can do it in the same fashion at first, like you're doing the your 2-arm curling bar, but it's not always like this. Yet it is. But when you're using one of these, it should be like this. Like you're trying to do any kind of body language. You may actually have one of your swords or blades. It can be held any kind of way like this. Hold it there for a couple of seconds. But then also the thing I like to do too, which I'll show you at the bigger ones. Hold one of them like here. Leave it like that and hold on to it. And do this. The one is holding it, yeah, because you may be doing some kind of work or something for some reason. Oh, plus also like you're marching with a sword. Boom, boom. Like you mean business. You know what I'm saying? But like hold while you're doing it. There's something about it too, just like there's something about holding one while you're squeezing out repetitions with the other that feels pretty cool. But then, like I said, starting with the little ones, you can go fast, and then, but you also rhythmic and slow. Sessions of rhythmic, graceful and slow, and then you can also go. It's both good for you, you know what I mean? But depending on you use the little or the big ones, you know, you're doing more of the tricep. Same thing like this. It's like this. Hold one like it. Hold one like this and then do this. Hold it for a while. And then it's this. And then it's this. Then it's like doing it slower and graceful, holding the balance. Then it's, or you go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like that. And then last but not least, to end this, we're going to do the big ones, which I'm telling you my main point. The big ones will be your favorite because it may make you feel real gratified, and absolutely. I'm telling you this, I'm showing you this in case you're new at this. Even somebody that's stronger than me, in a sense, if you're new at one of these things, stupid shit can happen and you can snap a wrist. This is 25, but they come in 50. You may be tempted to buy 50s too soon. Oh, I can handle a 50. I don't need the rest of that. Then you're going to go off balance like this and maybe wrist snap. But Oh, I want to eventually buy 50s. Like, they're damn $200 a piece though. But these are like $100 a piece. I got them, but now with these, holding it like this, yeah, actually, whether you want to or not, it seems like your elbow is almost pushing into it. But make no mistake about it, it takes some strength to actually fling that up. Do a whole sessions of nothing but this. But before you do it with these, do like I showed you with these littler ones, you know what I mean? If you have that problem with one arm being stronger than the other, look in the mirror, one arm is a little bit skinnier than the other. Show that arm and wrist extra care. Don't just swing it like a wild man, just swing and hold it. You need to be... Now the trick is with the bigger ones, you know why I say to swing and hold it? Because when you go cranking like I usually do, like I'm going to show you in a minute, you need to be able to swing, hold it, and disengage. Do like a whole bunch of this. If you don't do this right here, decent and good enough, then you're not going to be able to do this very good. There. And see, I'm holding it down here. But before you venture into getting, and matter of fact, when these come in 50s, that's twice as heavy. Most likely, if I were to buy one, I like to buy things in 2s. But even like right now, even if you're somebody bigger than me, stronger than me, that's really did his time in the gym with the bench presses, 50 is twice this size. So you go straight to a 50, most likely you're going to be doing the Conan sword first, mastering it with one hand. And like I said too, I wouldn't want to mess with somebody who can take 2 50-pounders and crank it kind of like this. And this, you're doing a whole shoulder tricep thing there too. And it's like, yeah, and you're gonna actually, oh, and today I wasn't using my gloves. I forgot to put them on. You really should be using gloves when you're using the bigger ones. Before I end this video, I'll show you. Yeah, sometimes you can, but if you do too much, you're gonna get, it can slip out of your hands, or you can maybe get blister you get rubbed off of your skin. Instead of weightlifting gloves, you get your grippy work gloves up there in Lowe's or Home Depot. I have a set of blue ones with some really good anti-slip on them. I don't know where the hell they are. I have them somewhere, but yep, for your bigger ones, you're training with the bigger ones in entire sessions. You should wear gloves, not your leather weightlifting gloves. Well, if you're using hammers and stuff at work, you want these kind of gloves too. And this, yes, use your gloves. Like whole bunches of this. Like you should be able to hold it for a few seconds, because if you're wavering while you're holding it like this, you're not ready to really crank it up. Oh, and here's what we'll do now too. We'll slip a little down here, and instead of holding it like this, we'll go a little like this, and I'll show you. And when you're holding 2 of them, you're actually hold on, you're actually stabilizing your whole shoulders and chest are feeling it, because to be able to hold it like that too, every aspect and movement and rotation of your wrist and shoulders is at work here, keeping that stable and steady. You know, that part of the wrist like here, to keep it from wavering this way, and to keep it from wavering this way, you know. Anyway, so now we hold it closer here. This is going to take a little bit more oomph here. You better be able to hold it steady so it don't waver. And when you go and make the pass here, show you a little bit, like right closer here. Yeah. You might get some shaking a little bit. Try to hold that. And be able to gracefully disengage. And then like you wait, like you want to be able to, like I said in another video, you want to be able to hold it a little bit and then safely relax. I'll do this one more time and I'll end this. Hold it like this. And crank it, 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 and crank it. So there you have it. Let me put this shit away. My speaking wasn't the greatest today, but I ain't deleting the whole thing and starting all over hell with that. But anyway, I'll put this down. Yeah, to end this, I highly recommend this for, like, if you're a taller, slenderer person, and compared to some dude you go in a gym with, or a guy you went to school with, or even a dude that's a little chubby, but he can bench press. Matter of fact, I turned like 51 and I'm actually getting a little bit, I saw in my own video, nobody pointed that out. Hell yeah, I'm getting a gut on me. So you can have somebody, if you're watching this now, if you're some dude with a beer belly and all that, you do some stuff at work, no shame going on YouTube, you got a little gut coming out, because yeah, people with got a kind of a pot belly, and you don't want to underestimate them either. No shame in getting on here. I mean, if you even have a beer belly and you drink your beer. Oh, don't do this too much if you're drunk and have any well, the worst thing you can have, instead of hurting yourself, cracking the concrete on your porch or your sidewalk by dropping it, and then you have to pour a whole new slab of concrete. That's the biggest danger, but you know what I mean. But anyway, you're a slender or build person, you're not gonna look like that bigger dude in the gym because of your wrist type. This is great for you. But for that dude that's bigger than you, can do all that bench pressing and has that perfect stature, he wants to use things, oh, even better. Whew. But for you, you know what I mean. Basically, to end this, I'm saying if you're a slenderer build, it's harder to look like that other guy. That wrist type, you're gonna feel some difference in your forearm, even if it don't get super bigger. The fact that you can handle hammers and shit like at a workplace, or a piece of rebar to defend yourself, and be able to hold it like this, like it's a wooden stick. That's what you want there too, a good thing, you know what I'm saying? And I sweated, it's not too hot like in the shade, but now my ass gotta take a shower now. So yeah, there you have it.